we got today's sponsor is Absentia, catalyzing latent human capital for social impact, decentralizing the world for good. Absentia helps institutions, organizations, and coordinated digital identities build decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, that are community owned and executed. If you guys are out there looking for somehow a way to get into DAOs, I know that's a hot topic now in the crypto universe. Absentia is a place to be at. If That's their site right there, absentia.com on the screen. And then, let's go ahead and introduce Mr. Bruce onto the show. Welcome to the Sailors Lounge, our official Ocean Protocol Ambassadors channel, or
podcast.
It's good to be here. Thank you very much.
Have you seen any episodes, or have you?
I think I've caught like little snippets of one or two of them.
That's dope. Whatever. Go ahead, Robin.
It's a 10th episode already. So, I mean, we kind of, time flies by somehow in the crypto space. I remember the first episode, and now we're already at number 10. But it was really cool journey so far.
So it's like a talk radio format.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Just just something. I know, like, there's the idea for this podcast was just kind of like, we wanted it to be like free flowing, like community. We just have like, I guess, different ocean ecosystem guests come on, and we just chat and talk about ocean stuff, or just crypto market, or anything happening in like AI or data, or NFTs. Just because I think I know you've been on many podcasts and AMAs, and I think everything's been very like interviewee, and wanting to know a lot of stuff about you, I guess, or just very hard-hitting questions, possibly. So I think if you want to just give a little bit of background on yourself, Bruce, and then maybe I can ask some questions from there. And then I do have kind of like some stuff I did want to ask you about, and then I think Robin too. So then we'll get started from there. I
mean, let's get started. I hope most people, well, not hope, but I don't want to be presumptuous or anything like that, but I'm one of the founders of the project, and part of the founding team. There was probably about 20 or 30 of us as part of the founding team, and so it's a pleasure to be here and to be with you guys as part of the community. So why don't you just go ahead and shoot?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even know there was like 20, 30 of you guys that created this. I did want to just ask you about, like, so now that you're here, what do you think of like what's happening now in our like ocean ecosystem? I think it's been like a year, or I think almost 2 years now since coming out with Ocean Market, coming out with different partnerships. I think I guess just it's been now some time after the whole like ICO thing, I think. So what's your sentiment?
So first off, I'm really heartened with the growth of the ocean community, that it's expanded well beyond kind of the core team. Putting in perspective, we came out of kind of the crypto winter. In fact, we launched during the crypto winter in late 2017, 2018, and then we went 18 months of pretty hard slogging, where we started with a core group of folks who kind of believed in the project, and they stuck with us. And then we brought more and more people along as the project progressed. We started delivering on a faster pace. The overall crypto market started going positive, and we were a little bit even ahead of that curve. Now we're in a situation where we have a much broader and diverse community of developers, crypto enthusiasts, traders, as well as enterprises who have heard about the Ocean message and who are looking forward to kind of working with the type of technology that we're introducing. But at the same time, there's a lot more noise in the crypto space than there was even 6 months ago. And so that has made it really more difficult for Ocean Protocol to stand out from the crowd in a sense. But as a team, we're still really optimistic. We think that with every idea, there is a time and a place. And we started working on NFTs in 2014, 2013. And it was only until early this year when NFTs kind of hit their stride. And there's kind of the first big, let's say, public perception shift and change. This is the same with automated market makers. We're working with them, with Simon Delouvrier, quite a while. 2017 probably, 2016 even maybe, where we were talking about how automated market makers could help to set prices, single-sided pricing. And now we have all these different decentralized platforms like Uniswap, QuickSwap, Balancer, SushiSwap, all these things which are now using this technology. So long story short, I think Ocean is doing the things it needs to do for scale. I think we're growing organically, which is a great thing, and we're not overextending ourselves as a community, and I really like that.
Yeah, the community is like very, close and tight knit, and I think I feel like we're very home, type of group. Robin, did you want to,
I mean, I've seen in the last two months now with the Ocean DAO, things are really getting wider. So there's more and more attention coming in. So I personally, I'm working on a data union, but now there are more and more data unions coming, and we're kind of realizing what the advantages are to do that on Ocean instead of, for example, other projects that also offer this kind of frameworks. There's no explicit framework now on Ocean Protocol. Kind of data union, my project, we're winging it a little bit. We're doing stuff, and the other other projects come and say, we want this, we need that. We're like, okay, everything's open source. Come along. We don't have any problems with that. We even help them write their proposals for the Ocean DAO rounds, and somehow they are successful. And now, one project said, okay, they had to wait 18 months for the Irish government to give them money for the first time, and then in Ocean DAO it took 1 month, and it was easy going. So somehow more and more projects are appreciating this. Obsentia, our sponsors here, they were in the podcast last week, and for them it's the same situation. To get off the ground just by presenting your idea, that's something that's really powerful, and that's not really normal in the whole space. And Ocean Protocol and the Ocean DAO allow that. And I think this is really also a good way to grow the community. The people come and they show that they do something, they make progress, and they build on top of the protocol. And for me, this is a very unique thing to have that. I think there are probably other grant DAOs, but I like the Ocean DAO. It's very close to my heart, and somehow, I think the community is doing well, and we will become bigger and bigger over time.
Bruce, did you guys ever envision that a whole bunch of startups or companies would revolve around, Ocean itself, or,
This is what we want and need. There's two kind of driving factors, I would say. Number one is that over time, we need a broad and diverse community, well knowing that even some of the ideas we might even not ourselves we want the community to curate ideas so that we are not a blocker as kind of the original founding team members to ideas where what might not be kind of exactly what we think, but the community curates this stuff. And I think that helps for innovation. I also see that as there's an explosion of crypto projects, and we've been kind of in a little bit of a crypto swoon where everything has gone up for the last 6 months, everybody feels kind of very euphoric, and it's really hard to get attention onto your space. Unlike with Ethereum, when we saw it grow from 2014 all the way, let's say 2017, it was kind of the concentration of all the talent in the space that wanted to get into smart contracts, into kind of cryptocurrency and stuff that wasn't purely, let's say, Bitcoin related, a means of payment or stuff like that. And so Ethereum had this really beautiful 2 or 3 year period where they kind of held the community energy captive in a good way. That has now kind of splintered off, broken into multiple projects. And so for any single project to get mind share and to get a group of committed people, that's something to be proud of as a community for all of us, that we are kind of warm and open, we're diverse, we allow for new ideas. And a big part of that is the OceanDAO having a regular cycle that people can rely on with guaranteed funding, so that maybe, somebody who has been struggling to get funding for 6 months for their idea, maybe can get funding in 3 or 4 weeks, and they can get on with it and just prove that out. And I think that that's a very valuable test ground. And I think that that would make Ocean as an ecosystem stronger over time.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've definitely seen like a lot of projects come out from OceanDAO, and myself included. That, you know, I think it's crazy to have like this opportunity just come out to where you can, you know, join these DAOs and then have an opportunity to build something that you just never thought you would, or, you know, I guess, build or something. How about you, Robin? I mean, data union is kind of,
I mean, I quit my 6-figure safe job with no, you know, like unlimited job and stuff like this. I think tomorrow is going to be my last day in my normal job, so I'm like tempering out, and then Wednesday is. I think on Thursday I still have one meeting for 1 hour, but then I will be handing back my laptop and my badge, and I'm going to say goodbye to Rolls-Royce, and only work in crypto anymore. So, but of course, I mean, I'm working in like not just one project, but have small side gigs as well. But I mean, I'm looking really forward to this. I mean, of course, the current crypto events are not so favorable. I mean, to paying your employees, you know, like if you every month you have to look, is it enough? Is it not enough? So I would be happy, of course, if the tokens would go up in price again. But I mean, El Salvador accepted Bitcoin as their national currency. So I mean, that's something in my life. I did not expect this to happen so soon. It's a little bit like, you know, in AI, nobody expected that Go would be cracked by an artificial intelligence. I never expected something like this with El Salvador to happen so soon. And if now things are like, if the blocks are falling and more countries are going to join, I don't think that that things will stay like this, you know. But I mean, that's price speculation, so it's not really my forte. But I mean, for me, this is really awesome, and I'm really looking forward to this. And it's going to be a wild ride for sure, but I mean, I have experienced so much more in my time in crypto than in my normal work experience, that I'm really looking forward to this. So I mean, it's so much more energetic, and so much more collaboration and help and so on and so forth, that I think it's just it's a chance of a lifetime. You know, if I don't grab it now, I will regret it forever probably. So And I mean, Ocean is really helping me a lot to make this happen. So I'm very grateful for that.
Definitely. We have like a lot of collaboration too in like the OceanDAO. You know, a lot of us projects are helping each other out too, to build, you know, each other up, you know, and try and get, I guess, our whole ecosystem out there, you know, into the world. I know, like Bruce was saying, there is definitely like now a lot of different attention on different things. You know, first it's like the meme coins, then it's the, you know, NFTs, and just, you know, it's just all the attention is like definitely right now diversified. I guess, Bruce, do you think data and then AI as like a niche or like a genre of like the crypto market, it will start coming into the light more in these coming, you know, I guess, year, 2 years? Do you see that coming?
That's what we're betting on. With various things, it takes most ideas take a natural evolution in order to mature. And what we've seen with is that I'm starting to see more and more groups migrate from Bitcoin to Ethereum as this wonder currency. And for people who've been in the space now, Ethereum's been there for 6-7 years. It's just it boggles the mind, my mind, to see that people are now saying, oh, there's something other than Bitcoin. So it shows that we have successive waves of people coming into the space. Their onboarding moment is Bitcoin. Sometimes it's Doge. Other times it's Litecoin or some other coin, this type of thing. And it's fantastic, actually. And so what we're doing is we're doing what we did in the last 2 years and looking forward to the next 2 years, in the sense that what does it take to build a data economy? That's always been the case. Ever since 2014, when we started working on intellectual property on the blockchain, we've always been thinking, okay, what do we do to create a data economy that is kind of equal, fair, at least from the access perspective. And so, we can't control the outcomes, but what we can do is make sure everybody has a level playing field. And I think data is definitely something that's on everybody's mind. It's so obvious in a sense. There's a lot of different approaches. And I think Ocean, because, it's kind of has survived the crypto winter, we have some technology that we feel as a team quite comfortable in, that it doesn't exert kind of centralized tendencies and stuff like that. So with all that together, I think that Ocean kind of is in a good position to be one of the leading protocols, if not the leading protocol, within a certain period of time. When, I don't know, but rest assured, we're going to be working. We have a dev team which is growing, and they're working on all the different aspects from, for instance, OceanDAO, from the enterprise partners that we're working with, from individual developers who give us the feedback, and we're just moving the ball forward day by day on each of those things. So that's all you can hope for, because I think crypto is something that's going to be here for the next 25 years in the sense of developing and growing and maturing. And so it's not something we need to rush. Obviously, we want to do exactly the things that help with traction for the level of maturity of the protocol as well as the crypto space. That's all we can kind of promise, and just let the community know that we will be here. We're not going anywhere, and we want the community to grow with us naturally and organically.
Were you going to say something, Robin?
Yeah, I mean, just recently I saw some projects that now start to establish something that you can send like a instant message between two Ethereum wallets. Like that kind of reminded me of ICQ, like in the 1997 or something like this. So, I mean, somehow I feel like we're kind of, in this phase of the internet where, like, back then it was like, okay, you had your ICQ and you were messaging with your friends. So I remember that. And then I realized, okay, on Ethereum, this is not possible right now. Okay, so now projects are building that. So, I mean, like, we are really in an early stage, You can't even have, like, this kind of messaging. So, yeah.
This is going to be fantastic. Like, I don't know if email gets rebuilt on this, or quick messaging, a quick TikTok. I don't know how that all works in terms of storing of the data and such. But if you can get a messaging system on blockchain rails, then I think that is probably one of the first killer apps, actually. And then from there, just like we have something like Etherscan, BSC scan, all these kind of things, that gives data, real-time transaction history, and it's similar to a messaging service, because it from there you can start having insights that is actually true reality. It's not like fake news or anything like that. What happens on the blockchain is real stuff, and from there you can start creating our bots, trading bots and stuff based on what's happening on the blockchain. You can probably do the same thing with messages. So anti-spam protection. So it does cost something nominal, maybe not a lot, but just enough to make it start getting expensive for spam. And then you can also track email messages, your own and the people who send them to you, in a way where you can put AI algorithms on top of that yourself and start getting patterns from that, and you own that. So you can buy an algorithm off the shelf, hopefully from Ocean, apply it to your messaging service, your email service, even your transaction history, and it starts telling you stuff. That would be the ideal.
I mean, I was realizing we need that when I wanted to message to the people that are, first of all, in my liquidity pool, because I wanted to talk to them. I actually don't know them. So it would be really cool to be able to send them a message and tell them, okay, this is our plans. Here's some info for you guys. Because now if I message on Twitter or Telegram, I don't even know if the people, are actually reading that. So because there's no necessity, they can just be liquidity providers. And then on the other side, we also now have in our alpha the opportunity to contribute like data in the Data Union app. So, I mean, the idea was like, okay, can I talk to the uploaders? Can I talk to the verifiers? I mean, I want to get in contact with them. So I actually contacted some projects to ask them, can we just adopt your stack? We need this kind of now. So like, is this available? And it's not really available as a plugin module. So like now we're thinking whether we should build it ourselves, but I'm still in negotiation phase with them. But I think it's really, I mean, like these are like basic things that you don't really think about. But on the other side, you can then have message histories. This is data. You could say, okay, we sell it again we make a data union of our messages. We can just leverage this again, make another liquidity pool on Ocean, sell our normal conversation, and then just leave it up for algorithms to check, but not as something that other people can download. So suddenly, what WhatsApp and Telegram and all the other protocols can do, you could just do it, in a data set that is owned by the contributors again. Like the old story of data unions.
Mm.
Yeah. We have internal discussions in the sense of where's it going to pop, where is data going to start being traded in a meaningful way. One hypothesis is that crypto trading data. So using data from the crypto field to help people get better trading algorithms and stuff. There's a definite intersection between maybe AI algorithms, data, as well as money. That's one hypothesis. Another hypothesis is, ground up data unions where the ability to access data that is GDPR compliant, has consents built in, all that sort of stuff is another area. That's another hypothesis that I've been hearing. Another one is, the data up until now, that the visible universe of data is in enterprises. They're stuck in server farms with Amazon or on-premise servers. Is that where it's going to pop? And so there's positives and negatives to various things, regardless of industry sector. And our job as an overall community is to have not necessarily the right answer, but 1,000 different answers or 1,000 different tries to find out whether the hypothesis is correct. And so if we can get 1,000 different ideas being tested out, we'll definitely have to go through several iterations, but that gives the community the best chance of success. And so that's kind of how we saw the Ocean DAO, in that there can be a flowering of, let's say, 1,000 ideas on a hypothesis on what is the next killer thing. It could be messaging apps, could it be trading apps, whatever.
I mean, all the areas that you're talking about, there are already projects in the Ocean DAO that are working on that. So like for each of those, there are like several projects. I mean, so I think it's already starting, the ideas are getting tested.
What I really like is that exact dynamic. One of the things that's very clear is that if you work in enterprise, there's a lot of time that's spent on, let's say, writing up papers, designing specs, having meetings, synchronizing and such. And sometimes it's just easier just to go out and try it, see what sticks in the market. Other people learn from your mistakes, or you have a very good designer and then they figure out something and it advances it so that you actually do get usage, and then it takes you to a certain point. And so with Ocean DAO, people are able to test out their hypothesis very, very quickly to see how it goes, because, it's never a bad idea. It's just a question of whether or not there's this intersection of technology, market maturity, as well as kind of design aspect for users.
Do you think, well, I guess you say that, like, I guess Ocean, or like people want, data that's like GDPR compliant, or, well, I guess I'm thinking in the sense of like GDPR. Do you think like GDPR is going to be like plug and play for like every country? Because I think there's only like 7 countries, or like, well, 7 countries, or like, I guess even here states. Because I know in the US, California is like the only state that has like an actual like I guess data laws. And I know every other country, yeah, there's only 7 countries with actual like data laws that prevent, that have, certain things that you have to do with data. And I think India just banned Twitter. I think, or was it Twitter or something, from, being a social media just because of, I guess, data. So do you think Ocean would be a plug and play for every country's like, companies or, startups, or just in general, if it is GDPR, does GDPR fit into every country that doesn't have laws or does have laws?
I would look at it a different way.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Ocean is GDPR compliant in the sense that whoever publishes the data is kind of the custodian and hopefully the owner of it. Plus, there's kind of pseudo transparency that allows people to kind of verify the identity and kind of test whether or not that data truly is theirs, as we've seen in the Ocean market. I wouldn't say it's like the idea of Ocean being plug and play in every, let's say, device, every software by country. That's what we're going for anyways. I mean, we're going for ubiquity of this type of technology, just like with the broader crypto space. So that is definitely something that we want. And we've thought a lot about this over the last 7 years in terms of how do you make it so that regardless of the local geographic jurisdiction that you're in, this technology scales. Whether you're in Russia, China, Iran, Germany, US, how does that all work? And the best idea, one of the best ideas we got was essentially the privacy preserving type of capabilities where the data stays where it is. It's also healthier from a bandwidth perspective, anti-hacking, protecting of your data, where the data just stays exactly where it is. And we can build ways where, of course, that value can be ingested without moving it, plus with cryptographic guarantees that it's been treated the way that both parties want to, while protecting both sides and providing the economic benefit. I think that's exactly what we want. And so it's not necessarily that Ocean becomes plug and play for each country. It's just it becomes like the internet, where you don't even think about it. It's just some aspect of it. Just like if originally, if email had a 0.000001 cents per email, the spam problem might not be as bad, for instance. Now you're going to have that type of capability and infrastructure for data where it's just natural that, let's say, an email is worth, 0.0001 cents for somebody to ingest it. They collect 1 million emails. It costs them 10 cents. And over time, based on all the little crumbs that you leave, data crumbs that you leave around the world, you can actually start earning money from it. How much will it be? I don't know. But just by you living, you're generating data. And so that's always been one of the visions of Ocean, that that type of data can be captured. You own it, and somehow you can generate some sort of income based off it, whether it's $20 a month or $2,000 a month. I don't know.
What's the sentiment? I know I saw the I guess Ocean is now, I guess, officially recognized with like the WAF. And then we do have like partnerships with like Gaia X. And I know like there was like a lot of talk, I guess, in the Navy before the whole IDS, I think International Data Space. It was kind of like a speculation thing before it actually became like a real like partnership. I think that, I think it was announced that we are partnered with IDS, right? What's the talk between, like, is Ocean on, the forefront of, these companies, or like, are we getting to a point where, we could get entered into like adoption, mass adoption?
I think that certain things the future's here. It's just not evenly distributed. In certain places, it's already there. Like, so for instance, anybody who's listening to Sailor's Lounge, working with Ocean DAO, developing these projects as startups, you're already at the forefront. these bodies like the World Economic Forum, Gaia X, Catena X, and all that sort of stuff. That's also a pretty essential piece, but it moves at a much slower clock speed. And clock speed really determines kind of adoption over time. So, so something like a government or a large enterprise, they'll eventually bring something meaningful and scale where, you know, if they actually engage 100%, it's going to mean something. Like, for instance, the transition to electric vehicles in Germany, where you're going to have all of Volkswagen, Audi, Daimler essentially building only electrical cars, and that's really going to start moving the needle. But it's taken a long time, and it took somebody with a much faster clock speed, like Tesla, like, for instance, BYD in China, to move at a certain pace for a certain time to turn a lot of minds around and to make them believe. And so I still believe we're in early stage, but the long-term trajectory is there. The long-term trajectory for something like Ocean being the connective tissue for a data economy, it hasn't changed. And if I look back on something like Amazon, where for almost 20 years, people criticized them for never generating a profit, all of a sudden, I think starting in 2017 or something, they started generating massive profits, because they were just investing so much into their technology. And I don't know if we're going to have to wait 17 years for a data economy. I actually don't think so, because I think that we're at a tipping point where I don't think we can go another 15 or 20 years where people are questioning whether or not they can trust platforms with their data. I just don't think that is something people are going to put up with GDPR, with California, with all these different entities. They're saying you should own your data. You should be able to monetize it in the way you want. And so my hope is that when that tipping point happens, it will happen fast. And Ocean will be right there, mature and ready to scale up with the entire community.
Do you think, I guess, the advances in technology and just like, I guess, with the internet too? I know, like, back then it was like it took from 2000 to like, I guess, almost to like 2018. I think 2018 was really the point of where, you know, Amazon was really big, Facebook got really big, and that was like almost like a 20-year, I guess, time span where, like, you know, we started getting like, you know, instant, you know, just having email, and then now social like platforms, and then now I guess this year and you know, the year now that we're at is you know, we have like live, you know, live, I guess, what's it called, like live, you know, well, I'm just like thinking of like TikTok. You know, TikTok is big, you know, social media is very like huge. Do you think now, instead of technology or advances in technology, instead of that taking 20 years, now it's going to take like 5 years or even like 10 years per se, you know, to get to these, you know, to get to that next level of, you know, human, I guess, advancement?
Yeah, totally. I think technology, this is what they call an S curve, the adoption where it goes up. I'm going to try to, I don't know, it goes up like this. That's the S curve, where the initial curve is slow, and you don't think like we're right now right there, and then all of a sudden it'll pop up like this, and then it'll keep going like that. So you know, you have the early adopters in this part, then you have the, you know, the mass in the middle, and then you have the laggards on this side. And I think we're just hitting that inflection point where we're getting to mass adoption, and that S curve dynamic happens for any technology, whether it's Walkmans, TVs, radio, all that sort of stuff. The S curve for the radio is something like 30 years, 40 years. With, for instance, mobile phones, it's like 15 years, something like that. With blockchain, I think it'll be the same with all the different aspects of blockchains, whether it's NFTs, it's the yield farming, it's the things like what Ocean is trying to enable, smart contracts, everything. It's going to happen faster and faster, and I think that's all the more reason why we need to be as inclusive as possible, because it's very technocratic. So a lot of people who are not technically kind of able, it's easy for them to kind of get lost. So I do think that this is going to happen much faster, and the tipping point is going to be stronger, and the impacts are going to be felt much faster.
Where do you feel the data economy now is at in terms of like growth?
I think it's growing very fast. The problem up until now, typically what you try to do is you put a name on something. You put a name on something, you put a structure on it, and that allows people to have then a mental model on how it's growing, how it's progressing, how to sort things. I think everybody has seen those. It was started initially by VCs, and it's a landscape of all the kind of companies in a specific space. So, one VC junior met like 40 companies in the AI space, and they started categorizing them, and then it grew to 200 companies, and that's kind of like a landscape, and that gives us a framework to understand a space or something. And VCs use this a lot. I think for the data area, we're missing a couple of key components. Number one is we don't really have a language or a framework to understand how fast the data economy is growing. The best thing that we have is the amount of data being generated, but we don't have a second metric, which is the value of that data, how it's being monetized, the percentage of data that's being used. If we can get to a point where we have, this is the amount of data that's being generated, this is the value that we're getting, and we have kind of a ratio, a percentage, like let's say, I would bet that it's less than 0.5% right now, but 0.5% of all data being generated, being monetized, and we gradually move that up to, let's say, 20%, 30%, kind of a Moore's law almost, where people are able to generate and monetize data, then we have a framework. So the answer to your question is more meta, is how do we get a language, a grammar, a framework, a structure to measure the growth of the data economy? Because right now we don't have it. Right now it's through proxies. It's the value of Facebook. It's the value of Google. It is the value of Bloomberg or Reuters, anybody who's collecting financial data or health data, all that sort of stuff. And so you can do a proxy by saying, okay, of the Fortune 500 companies or the Russell 3000 companies, which ones are data driven, or what percentage of these companies' business is data driven? And maybe you go through all 3,000 companies in the Russell 3000 and you assess it like 50%, 20%, 2%, and then you just multiply that by the valuation. I mean, that's one way to do it. But until we get kind of better metrics on measuring the data economy, it's going to be hard to say how fast the data economy is really growing, because so much of it is just already integrated into existing businesses and new companies that just arise. They sell services like SaaS services or analytics services. There are some data brokers out there. There's some data marketplaces, but it's really hard to put a number on it.
Go ahead, Robin.
I mean, like a company like TikTok is basically also a data company. I mean, like they're living off of people creating like data for other people to watch it. I mean, like this is like all of these videos and stuff. I mean, like this is just data being created. I mean, like we in a data union, you could capture all of this and you could use it then to create algorithms on top of it. I mean, these companies are doing that in a way. I mean, TikTok makes algorithms to keep people engaged as long as possible. So, I mean, they are actively doing something like this, or Facebook also does it in the same way. I mean, they want to maximize the amount of advertisement that you're looking at, and so they can ramp up their prices. But I mean, like in the long term, all of this data should flow into something that is more meaningful. Maybe we should start a website to track all of this, the meaningfully used data. So like outside of this silos, like or the amount of silos that are opened up or something like this. I think it's maybe a little bit early. Maybe in a few months. I think maybe in half a year probably we will see more of this. I mean, I think also that right now is like a tipping point, as you said. Like big things are on the move, and then we'll probably see some change very, very quickly. But yeah, I mean, if I went to South America or talked to people from South America and asked them if they would be willing to take their mobile phone and like work on data with their phone, in an open data economy, and they said yes, of course. If they could make money like this, if they could make crypto from this kind of work, they would be immediately sold, And now I just have to find some Spanish speakers for my team. We have to translate our mobile app that's kind of getting finished now, and then we have to bring it out in all of the South American countries, and then we will make we are looking for like humanitarian organizations that want to start a project, like a pilot project, Spanish data by Spanish people in South America, and then like making some algorithm use cases on top of that. And then like like showing how the community can generate all of this data together. And then we have maybe something where people can see, okay, this is valuable, and then we just have to find some companies that then also adopt this. But it's like two sides, like the people are there, but you need the companies to buy the stuff. So yeah, it's still interesting. But as soon as this is kind of over, as soon as you get over the initial problematic phase where then they realize, okay, we can't get this somewhere else, and this is very meaningful, then yeah, I think then the economy will really start to blossom.
Yeah. Robin, did you want to bring up that thing? I think we have about 20 minutes left into this podcast. I think you have to. Yeah, I think we're.
I think we handled that already, so it's okay.
Okay. So anything else you want to bring up, Robin?
From my point of view, yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me is like how is Ocean itself, the company, how has it developed? I mean, I was in Berlin, I think 2 years ago or something like this, and it's around about the same time in the year, and I know that since then, since we are living in the pandemic, the whole company has also changed. I mean, now is the company now scattered more around the world? Are you guys also like leaving Germany now, or what is there a plan for that, or is everybody now up to do whatever they want?
Yeah, sure. The team is distributed. We had before the pandemic kind of a local like points in Singapore and Berlin, and now it's not the case. It's we will hire from anywhere on Earth. We encourage that as well for the Ocean DAO, and we also think that that's very healthy. It's a little more difficult to build on like cohesive culture when that happens, obviously. But I think that what we're experiencing is no different than any other company is struggling with. Right. I think that the good thing is that we've grown to be remote first anyways, and so we're already in a much better position that way. In terms of traveling, nobody's been traveling since February 2020. So everybody's cooled their heels for, 16, 17 months, and we don't expect that to change. I think we will be available for the Mazzari mainnet in New York. We have somebody who's based in New York City now. And so he will attend that on our behalf, and I might go there as well. So we'll take traveling as it comes. But I think that we're still, with all this pandemic type of things happening, I don't think that people are really opening up as much yet. So travel, I'm not sure what happens after the pandemic, to be honest. I don't know if anybody has that answer, whether or not we start traveling again, doing roadshows. It has been something that is on my mind, whether or not we do some roadshows and get the word out, or at least go to the places where our community is located, just to rally the troops. Maybe we'll take some feedback on that one and see whether or not that is something that would be appreciated. But we definitely know that it's not yet the time for large scale events and speaking and stuff like that. We've also found, I think everybody has found, that Zoom and meetups via video, even though they're not as well attended, they are in some ways, they're recorded, they can be watched later, they can be posted on YouTube. And they don't require you to spend 48 hours traveling there and back and staying overnight in a hotel and stuff. So in some ways, it's way more efficient. But there's something to be said about being with a group of people for 3 straight days, going through all the ideas and building that culture. A lot like how the Ethereum community did it. They would have a meeting every 2 months, and it was a great way for community building. At a certain point, of course, it got too much, and I guess the pandemic helped fix that.
So I guess, yeah, what are kind of like your difficulties in building, kind of like, I know like with the whole like remote thing, is it just like building like the culture and then having everybody kind of mold into that culture? Because I know everybody is all like here. I think with the Ocean DAO, it kind of seems like, since all of us are kind of remote, we're all in different like countries and stuff, and we all kind of just, everyone's kind of on their own like terms. Things are kind of slow in building things or getting things started. Is that kind of just this, the same process? Or
Yeah, I would say so. I as I said, in talking to other teams, other companies, everybody's struggling with this, whether it's internally or broader in the ecosystem. So the current situation is great if you're an introvert, if you're a self-starter, and you just want to get shit done, you believe in it, and for somebody who's more extroverted or likes to be around people and gets ideas and gets energized by all those ideas by just hanging around the water cooler, it's been particularly difficult for them. I know quite a few of those people. Some of them were on our team and stuff like that, and it's just really difficult for them. And so that's why the first this meeting that happened, I think in Mexico, where 12,000, or Miami, where 12,000 people got together, I think that's very good for the community. It's one of the very first major events, I think, that I was even aware of in anywhere for a while. These types of things, I think they will come back. Hopefully, it won't get as crazy as it was before the pandemic, but these types of things are still very, very useful for bringing the community together.
And I mean, Ocean was represented in Miami, right? I saw a picture of Michael Saylor and Alex Neffes. So Alex was there. So I mean, he posted it on Twitter. So I think it happened. So, yeah,
I saw that too. Okay, let's go. I guess we'll just start wrapping up just a bit. I don't know. Do you have any wrapping up things? I guess, Robin.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce. I don't know if I should mention this about this thing I have here. No, okay. okay. It will be a pleasant surprise for the people. Anyways, I mean, like, I'm really looking forward. I really enjoyed, that also the times to go to Ocean headquarters when it was still a thing. So maybe there could be still an event at some point. Like, I mean, the Ocean Navy said they want to make a big party in Amsterdam or something like this. But I'm not quite sure if this is something really serious or if they just choose Amsterdam for certain aspects that the local culture brings with it. But yeah, I mean, something like this could maybe be an option. That there could be like an event. Like by the community, for the community. Maybe this would be something after the pandemic to organize things like this. Because I mean, like I know a lot of people here, but every time I get the chance, to meet somebody actually in person, like then I always have to grab it. So recently I went to the Delta DAO. Like they kind of work somewhere remotely, so they do like how's it called, like a workspace, but somewhere it was in the mountains, so I had to drive to Switzerland and then go to a small hut in the mountains, and then they were sitting there and hacking on their laptops. So, but I mean, as soon as I got the chance, I jumped on it because you never know how often you can meet the people. So yeah, if something like this could be happening in the future, I would be really happy about it. I mean, I would probably also travel a lengthy amount of time just to meet more people again from the community, because somehow it's really awesome. To meet everyone.
Good idea, Robin. Maybe we'll take you up on that. I mean, I have that also on my kind of thinking, is whether, to find out where are the people and maybe just travel there and meet up with them. That could be a very good use of time and rally the troops and, do a section with North America, do a section with Europe, do a section with Asia, maybe this type of thing. And I think that has a very good kind of effect on the community, is that people put a face to a name, and they know kind of that they're not alone. It helps to build culture and stuff like that. So maybe it's not going to be like a conference with 2,000 people, but if it's going to be 6 or 7 people just sitting down and talking about various things, that's also very useful.
I think so too, yes.
Yeah. Are you liking what you're seeing with our ambassador program? I think there's like been 3 iterations of the ambassador program, but I think now we kind of have a good structure and kind of good progress, I think.
Yeah, on Wednesday evening we will have the first Ocean Ambassador town hall. So like I remember when Manan told me, one day you will make the town halls, Robin. I said, Manan, I don't think about it. That will not happen. And this Wednesday it's happening actually. So Jim is going to host us, and we're now making also a Twitch channel for the Ocean Ambassador program. So like I'm going to talk a bit about the history of the ambassador program, going back into the times and like talking about the crazy events that happened. And then just quick parts about the ships. that we have now, the outreach and the tech ship, and then the most of the part will be spent on how can we reinvent the ambassador program now, because now we are DAO funded, and like basically that can open up all the doors. I mean, we want, like, the ambassador program won the last vote by a landslide, so like 2.5 million votes were handed in. Like, that's something that never happened before, and yeah, basically now it could become like something new, you know, like a big program. Like if you would have this kind of grant every month, you could like really move a lot of things, you know, like with that. So yeah, we have to first come up with something on our own, you know, whether the people are really invested enough to do something where, you know, then it also requires a lot of commitment, you know.
Cool.
But yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
If you're interested, you can jump in and also, yeah, if you like. But yeah, let's see.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure to be here. You guys are doing great work, and let's keep growing the community.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have you, I guess, let's see, we're on episode 10. When should be our next I guess, landmark, or what do you think, Robin? What episode number? 50?
I don't know, 25?
Oh, 25? Let's go halfway to 50.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's see. I mean, this will be in how many months? In 1 year, round about 1 year from now. We do two episodes per month. So yeah, maybe in 1 year, I will come back to you. Let's see.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. So yeah, well, this we're going to conclude this episode's Sailors Lounge with Bruce. We'll catch up again. We'll catch up with him again in a year from now. We'll see how, you know, the ocean ecosystem is, how the data economy is, and we'll just see where our progress begins, or our progress is at from there. But this was a really good talk with Bruce, and yeah, I'm really glad you came by here to celebrate our 10th episode. You know, started from a little nothing, and yeah, I think we're getting somewhere with the Sailors Lounge.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Take care, everyone.
All right. Sail away.